Might be a good book you want to read.
There you go.
Respect, man. The Creative Act. Rick Rubin, right?
Rick Rubin.
Dang, is this what you're reading right now?
Yeah, I just started. I just bought it yesterday.
Okay, what have you learned so far from that book?
Everything is a creativity. Everything is creative.
What's your name, by the way, brother? I know we just met before I turned the camera on.
DeMarie. Ye is for sure.
Ye for sure.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
Yeah, everybody's a creative. What we doing right now is creative. What you just walked up and did is creative. What he just walked up and did, me and him having a conversation is creative.
That's
this
true,
is
brother.
three strangers.
What's your name, man?
Right here, having a conversation.
Sorry?
Trevino.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
TRA.
What's any insights that you picked up from the book so far?
I'm only on the second chapter, so what he's saying right now is just that everything is creative. What we doing in our basic life, he says some people we don't know how to tap into our creativity yet. We haven't learned that part yet.
Well, let's talk about this city that we're in. Are you from Los Angeles?
Yeah, I'm from Los Angeles, yes. I'm from South Los Angeles, Watts area. But I grew up all over. Like, I lived in Watts, I lived in Los Angeles, Gardena, Inglewood. But I'm more familiar with this area. This is like the best part of LA because I worked in Malibu. I worked down here on the beach, so this is convenient for me. And I just moved in this area, so
respect.
This is like the best part of
the concrete. You know what I mean?
What's that?
We roses that grow from the concrete.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You're from Los Angeles as well, you're saying?
I was born and raised in Los Angeles all the way to 13, and I moved to Vegas. But my experience here in Los Angeles, being back and forth, it just, it's everything. I love it. You know what I mean? Love the view, but it has their ways too here. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it depends what you're here for, and you know what I'm saying, and how you brought up.
Yeah.
I was brought up, you know what I'm saying. Let's say in the 80s and 90s, you know what I'm saying, where I guess you want to say the violence, the gangs, whatever was real active. You feel me? I got a lot of family members, you know what I'm saying, on both sides, colors. You know what I mean? So. To me, you know what I'm saying, to sit back and watch, you know what I'm saying, and knowing that, you know what I'm saying, something wasn't right, you know what I'm saying, I took another route. You know what I mean? I took another route in life, man, fuck it. You know what I mean? But I was still part of that culture of pain. You know what I mean? Still, trying to, you know what I'm saying, make it somewhere in life. You know what I mean? I wasn't no different from that brother. You know what I mean?
Were you ever, tempted by that lifestyle?
Put it this way, I was you know, so I was all my stepfather, he was from Rolling 60. You know, and that's the Crip. You know what I mean? It's Crip Nation, whatever. But, you know what I'm saying, I never did get influenced by him, you know what I'm saying, because he played a part as a father. He didn't play a part as a, you know what I'm saying, trying to break me in, you know what I mean, trying to influence me into being in the game.
Yeah.
Where, it was the time, I guess it was the time that I kind of sit back and realize what, you know what I'm saying, what it is about it. But I never did judge it by, you know what I'm saying, bad things about it. You know what I mean? I always thought about it it's a tribe thing. You feel what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. Just like how Africa got tribes. We got tribes too.
Here in the city of Los Angeles.
Right. And that's how I look at it. And but just coming up, you know what I'm saying, then going through my struggles in LA, you know what I'm saying, my mom was single. I'm the only child, so it was hard as hell. I ain't gonna lie, it was hard as hell, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Stomach almost touching your back almost every day. You know what I'm saying? Where I was coming from. So you gotta do what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Walk up in grocery store, snatch some food up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? 10 years old, learning the game, how to sell dope, all that shit. It's gonna be introduced to you. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be introduced to you to kill you. It's gonna introduce you to how to survive. You feel what I'm saying? Back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way I knew it. You know what I'm saying? We was coming up. You know what I mean? So.
Do you feel like it's got a bit better today? You were talking about
I think so.
Maybe it was worse.
I think so.
I
Like I said, I got back here around last year. Matter of fact, my first time in a long time. Like I said, since I was 13. I came back here while I was 19 with my grandmother, but it was just for just a weekend, whatever. Well, I came back here while I was 40. I noticed the change. You know what I mean? The youngsters, just their game. You know what I mean? And it's not color shock like it used to be. You know what I mean? It's a lot of shit changed for me. So I'm really I'm still, I'm brand new to this shit, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I still got the same mentality, you know what I'm saying, even though I was gone, you know what I mean? Because where I came from, and the struggles I experienced here, I'm not going to say too much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
About myself, but they kind of you know what I'm saying, stuck with me all that long, you know what I mean? But I took that and kind of trying to not make positive out of it, but kind of trying to put that shit behind me, because I don't want that to be part of my success in life. You feel what I'm saying? I don't want that to affect me as a man, a human. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you got to let the last identity go to make room for something new.
In order to piggyback off what you're saying is I understand some things you're saying, but I think that coming from like more like urban areas in LA, and we get stuck on the we can't make it out. Like we were just talking about, we get stuck on that. But my whole thing is that what he was saying is that we grow up in these areas, but. And not to say, but it's like we all guaranteed. This is what I say that keeps me composed, like, and keep me level-headed. You only guaranteed 3 things in this life: nothing more, nothing less. A chance, a choice, and death. Oof. That's literally it. When you break down life,
that again.
That's
a chance,
a choice, and death.
Wow.
That's the only 3 things you're guaranteed in life.
I'm telling you.
You're not really guaranteed.
That's
nothing
worth thinking
else.
about.
So seriously, no, it's real, and there's. I was watching another podcast. I don't watch informative TV. I don't like watch movies and stuff. It got to be YouTube, informative television, or something like that. But I say that to piggyback off what he said. Like, we grew up. Like, I was in some of those things. Like, I knew how to do some of those things. I've engaged in some of those things. Right. But it still goes back to a chance, a choice, and death. Like, what do you want to make the choices do? What do you want to make the chance? Chances and choices, just decision making, and I think that's where we get mixed up as our decision making process. Yeah. Like, I've messed up before. I've messed up, but once you,
because I'm not.
Nobody's perfect.
I made mistakes in my life. Trust me.
Some people are close.
Shit. Yeah.
A lot of people are close, but they'll never tell you that. Yeah. They don't want you to say. What I just tell you, you can never know you're in the game. Right. What did it say? You trick them by never letting them know that they're in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And most of this, I believe, is simulation. Like, this is the Big Bang Theory. You got to just go with the flow and believe in what you believe and go ahead. Like, I feel it be like that sometimes. That's my favorite saying. It be like that sometimes.
I mean, sometimes I make mistakes. Like, I'm making these videos. I'm going around. I'm approaching strangers, right? Sometimes someone's having a bad day. They see me coming. Right. They're just like, get the fuck out of here. You know? But it doesn't happen much. Like, it teaches me most people.
Your approach wasn't negative. It wasn't.
Yeah, and you nodded. You know, it was like
you didn't have an aggressive approach. Like, I've been approached by people.
It's you when you approach somebody and then. It's always, you never know. People go
they're having a bad day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, like I said, everybody ain't perfect. And, nowadays there's a lot of mental illness going on. You know what I mean? For real.
So what is your mission statement? What is your mission with doing this?
Well, so basically the video I'm making right now, it's called like, what's it really like living in Los Angeles? So I'm trying to get some people to talk about the good aspects of the city and the bad aspects. But the best moments like we're having right now are the ones where the question kind of goes out the window and you're just getting like a real moment of life. You get an insight into what someone's life is like. Like the other day I went to downtown LA and I was talking with this Mexican.
I just moved out of downtown LA. Terrible.
Woo,
yeah, it's
terrible.
It's a bit rough.
No, I moved. They moved me to They moved me to an apartment. I had moved out of the President's Apartments in downtown.
Yeah.
And that was cool. I lived in school zone. That was on the good side, like not too far from South Park.
Yeah.
I seen this apartment online, moved to the apartment. It was a brand new building.
Yeah.
And when I made it there, it was on 6th and Alvarado.
Wow.
And it was like, no, they took over the building. They tag in the building. They do everything that's going on. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, Skid Row. I wasn't at Skid Row, but I was close to there, and I can tell it's a pretty intense area.
I mean, Skid Row is one of those parts. Skid Row is one of those parts, like, even when you get close.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Skid Row is one of the parts where you even get close to the area.
Yeah.
You're going to feel some certain tension that you don't usually feel. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if it's safe to go down this way. I don't know nobody this way, so why go down that street?
I mean, I was talking with some Mexican Americans about there's a lot of like tension in that community right now with the whole political situation. Yeah. They were talking about some people aren't even going to work right now because they're afraid of deportation. And yeah, there's some intense stories coming out, you know.
There's so much going on, brother. I mean, literally, you know. Like I said, I just got back, and for me to come back and notice that a lot of shit didn't change. Yeah. And a lot of shit did change, and some things they got worse.
So let's talk about that. What's first of all, what do you love about Los Angeles?
What I love about Los Angeles is this is where my family at, first of all. You know what I mean? Allens, McGowns, Burns, Coarts, Dunbars. But what I love about Los Angeles is that we strong people in here. Even though we go through what we go through, but we stay strong through everything. And this where it happens at, you know, this where your, you know what I'm saying? This for the dreams. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to say, this is you can make your dreams come true.
Yeah. You gotta run. What's your favorite thing about Los Angeles?
The trees, the breeze. You can come to places like this. You can leave the ghetto. You can leave the ghetto.
You know what I'm saying?
You can leave the ghetto, and 5 minutes later, you can be in an area like this.
Yo, thanks for the good vibes, man. Thanks for the good vibes.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Stay blessed, man.
Yeah, you too.
Hey. They gotta thank you for the blessings you've been sending me. I know I lost my faith, but I'ma get it back eventually. They gotta thank you for the blessings you've been sending me. I know I lost my faith, but I'ma get it back eventually. Motivation, I'm motivated to chase some chicken. Wouldn't listen, so 7 summers was spent in prison. Now the mission is compromising the opposition. Focus on the vision that sense made me a mental menace.